Hi, guys. So this week I'm going to share in a couple quick minutes a parable that has been super helpful to me in my career and in my life, and will hopefully be helpful to you and to yours too. I guess it's been helpful to me because I think it really applies to the way I try to approach like business and work and serving people. And also like when we're hiring people, I think it helps a lot to think in this way and like introduce this idea. I think when we think about this parable, it kind of shows the way you guys do business versus the way that other realtors might do business. So I'm just going to share this here. It's something I talk about a lot. You can ask anyone on the leadership team. They all know what this is and how I talk about it a lot. But I think it's really good and it summarizes like our approach and the ninja approach to why we serve our clients and how we serve our clients. So it's called the Parable of the Oranges, and I originally read it in a Forbes article like many years ago, and I just saved it and revisit it and pull it out and dust it off and share it with people when I think it's important. And this is my opportunity to do that this week. So here we go. Um, so there was a young man who had ambitions to work for a company because it paid very well and was very prestigious. He prepared his resume and had several interviews and eventually was given an entry-level position. He turned his ambition to his next goal, which was becoming a supervisor, which would give him even more prestige and more pay. He completed the tasks he was given. He came in early some mornings. He stayed late so the boss didn't see him working in those like long hours. About 5 years after he was working there, a supervisor position became available. But unfortunately, to the young man's dismay, another employee who had only worked for the company for 6 months was given the job and the promotion. And the young man was really angry, and so he went to his boss and kind of demanded an explanation. And his boss, who was very wise, as they are in parables, said, before I answer your question, I need you to do one favor for me. And the employee said, okay, sure. He said, would you go to the store and buy some oranges? My wife needs them. So the young employee said, okay. He went to the store and he came back with some oranges, and the boss said, okay, well, what kind of oranges did you buy? And the man said, I don't know. You said to buy oranges, and so these are oranges. Here you go. And the boss said, how much did they cost? And the man said, well, I'm not really sure. You gave me $30. Here's your receipt. Here's your change. And the boss said, well, thank you, but have a seat now and pay careful attention to what I'm about to say. So the young employee kind of sat down, and the boss called in the employee who had just received the promotion and asked him to do the same thing. He said, please go buy some oranges. My wife needs them. So the newly promoted employee agreed and went to the store. And when he returned, the boss said, what kind of oranges did you buy? Same question he had asked the original employee. And the newly promoted employee said, well, the store had several varieties. There were navel oranges and Valencia oranges and blood oranges and tangerines and many others. And I didn't know which kind to buy, but I remembered you said your wife needed them. So I called her, and she said she was having a party and that she was going to make orange juice. So I asked the grocer which of the oranges were the best for orange juice. He said Valencia orange was the best because they're full of juice. So that's what I bought. And I dropped them by her on your way home back to the office. Your wife was super pleased. And the boss was like, okay, great. How much did they cost? The boss asked. And the newly promoted employee said, well, that was another problem. I didn't know how many to buy. So once again, I called your wife and asked her how many guests she was expecting. And she said 20. So I asked the grocer, how many oranges do we need to make juice for 20 people? And it was a lot. So then I asked the grocer if he would give me a bulk discount, and he did. So normally these oranges cost 75 cents each, but I paid only 50 cents. So here's your change and here's your receipt. The boss smiled and said, thank you, you may go. So he looked over at the young man who had been wanting the promotion and who had been listening to this whole exchange. And the young man stood up, slumped his shoulders, and said, I see what you mean, as he walked dejectedly out of the office. So that's the parable. I just think it summarizes nicely how there are different ways to do our work. And when we work with intentional and with intention and with the desire to really help people, then we will like blow other people's performance out of the water, right? If they're just checking boxes and we're like really trying to help and to serve and to get people what they need, we're going to deliver like such a better experience, like the promoted employee did with buying oranges versus the guy that didn't get the job, right? Get the promotion. So that's today's little nugget and food for thought. Now I can bother you guys all with a reference to that story, not just the leadership team. I hope it's helpful. When I send this video out, I will attach the Forbes article, which includes like the parable and also kind of an interesting summary. Have a great day. Thanks so much.